After making the top headlines for a few days, the controversy surrounding the installation of Jalhari at the temple of Pashupatinath has subsided to a great extent. Preparations are now underway to reinstall the Jalhari in the sanctorum of the temple. Even as the weighing conducted by the anti-graft body revealed that there was no substantial difference in the weight of the gold used. However, the investigations did point out that due processes were greatly flouted during the installation of the golden Jalhari. Good morning, I'm Chitrakar, and these are the headlines of the hour. Preparations underway to endorse the budget amid dissatisfaction of ruling parties. Congress and Mao Centre issue whip. Meeting of Janata Samajwadi and Unified Socialist underway. Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police digs deep into the Lalita Niwas land scam. The golden Jalhari being installed today. Wagner chief Prigozhin reaches Belarus. Belarus President Lukashenko calls on other Wagner fighters to come to his country. And Lebanon and Maldives clash in the SAF Championship for a place in the semi-final. Bangladesh and Bhutan encounter also today with the last four place up for grabs. The government is all poised to endorse the budget for the upcoming fiscal year today with no amendments despite widespread criticisms and objections from some of the ruling parties. A proposal is scheduled to be presented for budget endorsement during the meeting of the House of Representatives, which will begin in a short while. Nepali Congress and CPN Mao Centre have already issued a whip regarding budget endorsement. Likewise, Janata Samajwadi Party and CPN Unified Socialist are holding discussions regarding budget endorsement. Prior to budget endorsement, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is scheduled to address the questions raised by lawmakers. Meanwhile, the ministers have already furnished answers regarding various issues concerning the budget. Discussions on the budget that was proposed in the Parliament on the 29th of May had begun a week later. Political parties that had been opposing the endorsement of the bill without amendment are also in a mindset to lend their support to the budget. The ruling coalition parties have reached an agreement to settle their issues once the budget gets endorsed. The Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police, the CIB, has been investigating the Lalita Niwas land scam for the past 5 years. The Bureau yesterday arrested 7 individuals for their alleged involvement in the infamous land scam. This includes Min Bahadur Gurung, the managing director of popular supermarket chain Bhatpatini, former head of the Land Revenue Office in Dili Bazar, Kaladhar Deuja, officers Surendra Man Kapali, Dharma Prasad Gautam, Hupendra Mani Kesi and Gopal Karki, and former election commissioner Sudhir Kumar Shah. Police had, however, released Kapali, Deuja and Kesi a few hours after arresting them. The report prepared by the CIB after conducting investigations for 3 years was returned by the Office of the Attorney General, citing need for further investigations. The Bureau made the arrest after 1.5 years since the report was returned. Shovakanta Dhakal, Ram Prasad Subedi and his wife were arrested for their alleged involvement in the scam a year and a half ago, and preparations were made to file a case against them, with more alleged individuals still left to be arrested. Min Bahadur Gurung has been alleged of occupying public land and operating the warehouse of Bhatpatini supermarket chain. The CIB has geared up to file a case against 38 alleged individuals, including Gurung, and arrest warrants have already been issued against them. This includes former Secretary Deep Basnet, who has been alleged of tampering with government documents. 4 teams of CIB is looking into the case, and investigations have been carried out in 4 phases between years 2049 to 2069 of the Nepali calendar. The CIB arrested the alleged individuals from different places of Kathmandu earlier yesterday under the direction of the Office of the Attorney General. In our Public Voice segment, we have asked people in several provinces what should be done to expedite investigations on cases of corruption. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
विज्ञ राखेर चाहिँ यो भ्रष्टाचारको मुद्दालाई चाहिँ छिटोभन्दा छिटो टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्यो।
आफ्नो नातागाता नहेरेर सबैलाई कारबाही गर्नुपर्छ।
पूर्वाग्रह नराखिकन चाहिने स्वतन्त्र पूर्वक तरिकाले चाहिने यदि यसलाई हेरिदिने हो भनेदेखि चाहिँ सकेसम्म यो भ्रष्टाचार चाहिने हुँदैन थियो।
इमानदार भएर चाहिँ काम गर्यो भने
सरकारले एउटा छुट्टै आयोग गठन गरोस्।
फास्ट ट्र्याकको मार्फत अदालती प्रक्रिया समाप्त गर्नुपर्छ।
समिति बनाउनु पर्यो। समिति बनाइसकेपछि त्यसले छिटोभन्दा छिटो काम गर्नुपर्छ।
कोही पनि नागरिक संविधानभन्दा माथि हुँदैन। संविधान अनुसार चाहिँ दण्ड सजायको भागीदार हरेक मान्छे हुनुपर्छ।
मुद्दाको प्रकृति हेरेर सरकारले नै प्राथमिकताका आधारमा छिटो छरितो टुङ्ग्याउने पहल गर्नुपर्छ।
अनुसन्धानकर्ताहरूका अलि स्पेशल टिमहरूको संख्या बढाउनु पर्यो।
अनुसन्धानमा खटिएका व्यक्ति लगायत निकायहरू चाहिँ कुनै पनि जनताको लागि कुनै पनि अहित कार्य नगर्ने अथवा सही ढङ्गले चाहिँ निर्णय गर्ने खालको हुनुपर्दछ।
राजनीतिक दलहरू नै सक्रिय हुनुपर्छ। उसको कोसँग सङ्गत छ, कोसँग उठबस छ, कुन लेभलको मान्छेसँग छ भन्ने नहेरिकन उसलाई चाहिँ विशुद्ध अपराधीको रूपमा हेरियो भने चाहिँ छिटो अनुसन्धान हुन्छ।
Preparations have been made to reinstall the golden Jalhari at the Pashupatinath temple by fulfilling the rituals. The Jalhari was earlier taken out for inspection following speculations of corruption. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA) that has been investigating suspected irregularities had removed it from the temple on Sunday to measure its weight. The gold has currently been kept at Rudragareshwar under the security supervision of Nepal Army and will be installed at Pashupati after repair today. Meanwhile, the CIAA has retained the investigation report. The Nepal Rashtra Bank had purchased 107.93 kilograms of gold at an investment of more than 800 million rupees for the gold Jalhari at the Pashupatinath temple. The CIAA has been investigating allegations of irregularities during the process of installation of the Jalhari. Pokhara University celebrated its 64th year of establishment yesterday. However, in its 6 decades of history, the university has continued to face challenges in delivering quality education for a number of reasons. The university bears 80% load of higher education in the country with 9 streams including science, management, humanities, education, laws, medical education and engineering streams. Around 1,062 campuses have been affiliated to the university that have 400,000 students at present. Unfortunately, the university's service commission has been without office bearers due to lack of consensus among political parties. This has delayed the examinations for professors and officials along with the promotions of existing staff. Furthermore, the retirement of officials at the Office of the Controller of Examinations and the lack of new appointments has also delayed students' result announcements. This means the students are bound to lose 1 year from their academic career. The university has been a victim of political interferences. The university has also struggled to implement its academic calendar. Meanwhile, the number of youths leaving the country for education has continued to remain high. 113,000 students had left the country last fiscal, while in 11 months of the ongoing fiscal, 105,000 have already left for education abroad. Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what should be done to raise the standards of education at Pokhara University? Your options are A. Implement the academic calendar, B. Improve curriculum, and C. End political interference. Voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. The leader of Russia's 24-hour mutiny, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has arrived in Belarus 3 days after his Wagner mercenary group's rebellion came to an end 200 kilometers south of Moscow. Prigozhin's whereabouts had been a mystery since he was filmed driving off in southern Russia on Saturday night. His private jet was tracked flying into the Belarus capital, Minsk, on Tuesday. Lukashenko said Wagner mercenaries had been offered an abandoned military base if they wanted to join their leader. Under the deal that brought an end to the mutiny, Prigozhin has been promised guaranteed security and the Russian criminal case against Wagner has been dropped. Moscow is preparing to transfer the mercenaries' heavy weapons into the regular military, and the fighters have been told they can either sign regular army contracts, go home, or head to Belarus. NATO allies Poland, Latvia and Lithuania have warned that Wagner's arrival in Belarus could spell trouble for them as neighbors. A Lithuanian presidential advisor said the mercenaries were dangerous as they could take part in sabotage and infiltration operations. 2 Russian missiles struck a restaurant in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk on Tuesday, killing at least 4 people, and emergency services combed through the shattered building in search of casualties. Ukraine's national police put the toll in the 8 p.m. strike at 4 dead and 42 injured. Emergency workers scurried in and out of the restaurant as residents stood outside embracing and surveying the damage from the strike. The building was reduced to a twisted web of metal beams. Kramatorsk is a major city west of the front lines in Donetsk province and a likely key objective in any Russian advance to move westward to capture all of the region. The city has been a frequent target of Russian attacks, including a strike on the town's railway station in April 2022 that killed 63 people. Russia denies targeting civilian sites in what it has described as a special military operation since invading its neighbor in February 2022. A house on the verge of collapse, roaring waterfalls and flooded communities are the results of the heavy rains that continue to ravage central Chile and that left 2 people dead and 4 missing, authorities reported. At the Baya region, a family house was on the brink of destruction after an overflowed river caused a landslide under it. In mall, residents and the army tried to clear the mud and debris left on the streets. Hundreds of wet household items were placed outside the residences, showing the extent of the damage done by water. 2 people have died in the floods and 4 people are missing, the National Emergency and Disaster Response Service reported. The emergency body also reported that by early Tuesday, there are 13,379 people affected, 1,632 people in shelters and 12,314 people in isolation. In Koltauko, authorities deployed rescue efforts after almost 80% of the community flooded due to the overflow of the nearby river Kachapol, leaving families trapped and uncommunicated. Time now for sports update.
Sports news.
The last 2 matches of the group stage are being played at the SAF Championship today. The 2 semi-finalists from Group B will also be finalized at the conclusion of the 2 matches. Lebanon lead the Group B while Bangladesh are in the 2nd position, followed by Maldives and Bhutan in the 3rd and 4th place. Lebanon will be looking for their 3rd consecutive win, while Maldives and Bangladesh have won 1 match each. Even as Bhutan has not registered any win in the championship, the last 4 chances of all the 4 teams is intact. Lebanon and Maldives clash in the first match of the day, slated for 3 p.m. start. Lebanon will be looking for a comfortable win and advance to the semi-finals as group leaders. The 2 teams have met twice, with both the matches won by Lebanon. Meanwhile, Bhutan can also qualify for the semi-final if they can defeat Bangladesh by a good margin of goals. This, however, seems unlikely considering that Bhutan have never won against Maldives in the history of SAF Championship. Kuwait as group leaders and India have already qualified for the last 4 from Group A. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Preparations underway to endorse the budget amid dissatisfaction of ruling parties. Congress and Maoist Centre issue whip. Meeting of Janata Samajwadi and Unified Socialist underway. Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police digs deep into the Lalita Niwas land scam. The golden Jalhari being installed today. Wagner chief Prigozhin reaches Belarus. Belarus President Lukashenko calls on other Wagner fighters to come to his country. And Lebanon and Maldives clash in the SAF Championship for a place in the semi-final. Bangladesh and Bhutan encounter also today with the last 4 place up for grabs. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.